Technology Evaluation Centers is an impartial advisory firm specializing in software selection and digital transformation. We recently helped the Port of Houston Authority with their strategic IT project for its core operations. TEC delivered an enterprise architecture review and design to help the port align its IT business application landscape with its strategic objectives. Consolidating the many asset management systems was central to this initiative. This video highlights a conversation between Norm Cohen, Director of Business Development at TEC, and Eric Barron, Director of Strategic Asset Management Programs at Port of Houston, explaining the project and accomplishments. The Port of Houston is one of the world's largest ports. It's the busiest port in the United States as concerns foreign tonnage, and second busiest with overall tonnage, and ultimately the 16th busiest port in the world. The Port of Houston is a major point of international trade for the United States and very important to the U.S. economy. Eric, please can you describe the project and its goals?
The port is in the early stages of developing a successful asset management program. We're about 2 to 3 years into it. Some of the key things we're working on all relate to decision making and all relate to continuous improvement. So the long-term objectives are to, determine, can we be better, right? Because asset management is all about improving. So can we take this number of systems that we have that theoretically should work seamlessly together, and can we minimize the number of systems and ultimately have fewer to maintain, right? So that's what I call the how. How these systems interact, but the ultimate objective was to be able to get information real time with minimal people that are having to touch, the information.
Can you please describe the objectives of the Enterprise Architecture Review?
The goal was to take a look at our systems, what's the current state, look at the future state, make a decision as to where we want to be in our future state, and then figure out a path to get there and how fast, right? And get that through the organization. And so some of the key programs we're working on are, one strategy, we call it integrated systems. So integrated systems means that your maintenance system, your procurement system, your project system, your finance system, etc., they all need to be seamless in how they're working together so that you can extract information real time to be able to make decisions. Some of the other programs we have going are risk management. We always say that, you need to be able to manage risk to know what direction you're heading, know where the pitfalls are within the asset management department. And you need to make sure that you understand the condition of our assets, which is one of the third significant programs that we're working on. So if we understand the condition of our assets, if we understand how we can improve our assets, then we are maintaining them so that ultimately we can make decisions as to whether or not we retire these assets or maintain them and keep them running, or to dispose of these assets, and that's the normal asset management life cycle.
You used a decision gate approach in this project. Can you elaborate how it supported the decision-making and approval process?
Norm, I'm glad you asked that question about decision gates. Decision gates on the projects, on this particular project, was very important. When you think about decision gates, there are significant milestone events throughout the project that permits a project to progress, okay? And so the way we set that up was we had a project team, and then we had a review team that was reviewing what the project was actually doing. And this was more senior folks that could quickly identify some of the gaps or the areas and provide steer, okay? So above that review team, we had the decision maker, of which ultimately, because of a project like this, when you're looking at so many systems that impacts the entire company, in every individual in almost every single department within the company, that person wants to know what's going on before that change can be made, right? And so the projects team's responsibility was to make recommendations. The reviews team's responsibility was to review the recommendations and provide some additional steer or support. And then once that second layer of review was done, then presentations were being made and given to the decision maker. And the review team was there to support and provide their additional input so that ultimately we can get the right decision.
Based on the results and recommendations, can you please share your thoughts on the achievements and the possible next steps?
The goal is to improve, right? And I think that's the key thing. The port has a desire to improve in everything they do, just like most companies. And, the longer term goal, is to, take the recommendation, that we had, and to progress it further, right? And, all under the umbrella of continuous improvement, right? And that's, again, when you look at the asset management perspective, it's all about improvement. It's all about just providing support for decision making. But the desire to improve, is something that we take very seriously. And the strategy that we've adopted is integrated systems, right? So integrated systems, was the strategy that we set, and ultimately looking at what we currently have and trying to determine, how or at what pace that we want to improve moving forward. And I think we're in a very good position to do that today.
We would like to thank Eric Barron for his time and consideration in the making of this video. Should you have any comments or questions, please feel free to reach out to us.